Do you have a New Year resolution 2020? Or should I say 2020? January 1st is the biggest date of the year for making promises to yourself, and it's called resolutions. It's a personal goal for the new year, which starts January 1st. But most of these usually over-the-top goal fails, and you start with your bad old habits again. So therefore, I promise you 3 tips for your journey to reach your goals in 2020 and helping you get rid of your old bad habits such as ice cream, fast food, candy, or chips. And it's just a downward spiral from there. Or maybe you need a good tip of how to keep going with the good habits you already have, so you don't stop doing something that is good for you. Like going to the gym. Or instead of taking the bike to work, you go back to the bad habit of taking the car. And you remember the book that you said you would read? Well, you got some more important stuff to look at. So here is tip number 1. Have a goal that is realistic and possible. And what I mean by realistic is that if you're a beginner at something, you will probably not become a pro the first day. It will probably take some time and some hard work to do it. And by possible, I mean everything is possible, but is it possible that you are going through with this? Are you choosing something that you are interested in and that you really want to do? Because if it's not, it's probably not a possible task for you to do. And the most common resolution at New Year's is usually go to the gym, stop smoking, stop eating junk food, eat more vegetables, read a book, turn off your phone for 1 hour, spend more time with your family, become a vegetarian, you name it. You can choose whatever. You can choose to handstand, spin a ball on one hand, kick a soccer ball, or you can go down in a split, or maybe do a field goal. You can choose whatever you want. But all of these goals that I just said are very big, which brings us to our next tip. Tip number 2. Be specific with your goal. When? How often? How long? And when I say specific, I want you to try to narrow it down so it's easy for you to understand what your goal is and what you're trying to achieve. So for instance, if you're a beginner and it's your first time going to the gym, maybe you shouldn't start with 7 days. Then maybe 2 days is enough to start with. And maybe not too much weight. In every long-term goal you have, it's very important that you let your body adapt. It's a very hard change to go from doing nothing into doing something 7 days a week. So try to make it a small start, maybe do it 2 times a week or 1 time a week. And if that goes well, then you can increase it and do it more. Because if you make a goal for yourself that is nearly impossible to reach, it will be very hard to stay motivated, and you will have a quite big chance of giving up during the way. So if you start low and then increasing and getting bigger and better at what you do, then that's a winning concept. So be specific and start small and work your way up, and you will have a much higher chance of reaching your goal. Which brings us to our next tip. Last but not least, tip number 3. Make a schedule that works for you. So get your goal to fit into your schedule, because that's the key for making this work out. And if you want or need more motivation, tell people around you what you're up to. Another good idea is to do it with somebody else that has the same goal as you. Or if you're taking a class every week, then simply say to the people around you, "See you next week," because that small of a thing might make the difference if you're coming or not. So this is tip number 1, 2, and 3. And that included all of my 1, 2, and 3 resolution tips for this year, so you can make your goals happen. I hope I will see you next time in the next video. See you later!